Hi, my name is Julie, and this is my Code Review 1 submission. I'll begin with the Good Teacher Review. For this project, we were instructed to create some variables to hold the instructor's name, class name, and a gender pronoun, which I did right here. We were then asked to create a string and concatenate that string using the professor's name at least 3 times. So we had our string and then adding in the variables there, which when run looks like this, and these here are the variables that were placed in there. The second project review is the striped rows. For this project, we needed to add classes in CSS to apply color every other row. To do that, we, well, first of all, we started out with providing a default number of rows and then added the ability for the user to change or to pass in a number to override that default of 10. We then added a loop to go through the number of rows and added a mod operator here to determine whether that row was even or odd. And then if that was true, it would shade it blue. If false, it would shade it white based on those CSS classes. So we'll run that. I'm going to actually throw that in the browser and run it. And here it shows the 10 rows that were the default. But then if I come up here and add a count of 25, it'll display 25 rows, alternating every other one with the blue. The third project is the form helpers, and here we go. The form helpers project adds 3 functions: the submit tag, the linked to, and the select tag functions. The submit tag function creates a button that'll either be named commit or whatever else the user passes through that text variable. The linked to function adds a URL and a text and classes array, which actually hyperlinks the text and will direct the users to the URL that's passed through. The select tag function creates a select box and builds 3 arrays for value, labels, and classes. If statements are added to test the information that is passed in by the user, if no values are entered in, it'll display no values provided for the select. If no labels are entered in, it'll just name the labels whatever the values were named. If the label count and the value count do not match, the user will receive an error saying that the label array and value array must be the same size. And this will then actually create a drop down using this for each loop to add all of that information. So when that is run, again, I'm going to open that up in the browser. Here is the URL for the linked to function. We passed in bacon lovers click here. When they click here, it will bring them to the local host bacon, which is what we added into the URL variable. And I'm going to go back here. And then this is our select tag function. I will go ahead and select Wisconsin. And once I do that and I hit the send, which was our submit tag function, it then brings up the get function up here where it will add it onto our URL. Finally, we have our inventory project. And for this project, we have multiple tables that that are being entered in. The one thing that we've used in this program is the session start. The session start must be placed above the beginning of the HTML and is used to tell the server that we will be tracking sessions to know whether a user has been to the page. A hidden submit flag is used to determine if the page has been viewed already, and you'll see that hidden tag here later on. This code has multiple tables, one table to display the inventory array, which uses a for each loop, and that will then generate the table, and then it also generates, the same is done to generate the select box under the delete. So I'll just scroll through here. It's pretty lengthy code. Once we open it up, you can see that we have a form built here. Once we open that, and I'm going to open that again in the browser, you can see we have our inventory table. We then have our add item, and when we add an item, it'll add it into our table here and into our drop down, so the user can dynamically add these items to the table and to the drop down. I'll add in our test information, which then adds it in here, and then we can go down here and select our test and delete it, which then deletes it from both the drop down and the table. To refresh your session, you can highlight the URL and hit enter, and as you can see, that session then canceled, started a new session, and gave us back, or brought us back to the default items that are in the code. This concludes the first code review. Thank you.